fàyè o ayé ṣá málámálá mo máa bójú ọ̀run òkùnkùn ló ṣubú lẹ̀ mo ní ẹ̀ẹ́rẹ́ kíní dé sí Yorùbá o ọmọ aláyé kíní ṣẹlẹ̀ sí Yorùbá o ọmọ Oòduà o.
àwa máa ṣe ọ̀rọ̀ dáńfẹ́ Yorùbá ń ṣera wọn nítorí owó.
As the campaigns for 2023 presidential and other elections speeded up to a frenzy, a group of the like-minded citizens of Southwest origin concluded that there were no coherent voices speaking for the entirety of the Yorubas and the other peoples of the Southwest. They therefore formed a Southwest Development Stakeholders Forum, which is open to all existing political, religious, and ideological affiliations, but totally focused on development and the other core irreducible interests of the Southwest region, as enshrined in the blueprints of the Development Agenda for Western Nigeria. DAWN. The DAWN Commission is an institution established by the 6 state governments of Lagos, Ogun, Oyo, Ondo, Osun, and Ekiti for the security and socio-economic development of the Southwest. In the context of the 2023 election, the Southwest Development Stakeholders Forum fixed as its objective a determination to rise above the din of separatist movements, existing fractured groups and associations, and to host in Ibadan, Oyo State, a series of parleys whose purpose was to demand from the leading presidential candidates the basic question of how will you remove the constitutional impediments to Southwest integrated security, railways and waterways, power infrastructure, and environmentally sustainable exploitation of our mineral resources.
The Southwest State Development Stakeholders Forum is an amalgamation of different groups in the Southwest. We deliberately did not invite our big obas, our executives, and some people that we know. If you want to meet them, you know how and where to meet them. And if they want to meet you, the chiefs know how to get in touch with you. So we know that these are the people who are voting, and these are the people who, whatever decision you have taken as the president of Nigeria, are going to be at the brunt. So we want you to see them. We want them to see you, to be able to make conclusions on what exactly are we going to do. It is not anyone sponsoring us, and we have not collected a dime from any politician. And that we are also using that to appeal to you, sir. When you are going and you think that you should give us something, we are not going to take anything. We want you to use that as our own contribution to your campaign fund.
The Southwest Development membership include the Yoruba World Center, Majekobaje, Yoruba Choir Leadership and Training Foundation, Professional Women's Group, Egbe Omo Yoruba in North America, Association of Yorubas in Diaspora, South Africa, Concerned Christian Citizens, Jamaat Tawawonil Muslim Nigeria, Oduasima, the Yoruba Leadership and Peace Initiative, Town Development Unions, Hunters Groups, Farmers Groups, Market Women and Men, and some 30 other groups from all 6 Southwest states. On the 17th of January 2023, the presidential standard-bearer of the People's Redemption Party, PRP, and the Africa Action Congress, AAC, showed up at the Jogo Center, Ibadan. For the parleys were the people of the Southwest, demonstrating deep faith in the sincerity and sense of purpose of the forum. Each session starts with a brief presentation by the Director General of the DAWN Commission, Mr. Sheye Oyeleye, on the Southwest, where we are, where we could have been.
My name is Sheye Oyeleye, the Director General at DAWN Commission. DAWN stands for Development Agenda for Western Nigeria, which is the regional commission of the 6 Southwest states. Basically, the idea is to advance the development of Southwest Nigeria within what we call Nigeria. It has no secessionist agenda, purely developmental. And the idea for this forum, sir, is to bring us here, to interact with you, to let us know. And I'm glad that you mentioned probably the crux of what will be the discussion this evening, sir. Restructuring. Restructuring. What we are demanding, and we are not beggars. We have what we call the DAWN documents, the Development Agenda for Western Nigeria documents. This region, we've written our vision in that document of what the Southwest wants.
Each candidate then made his speech on why he desired to be president of Nigeria and his specific plans for the development of the Southwest. After this, he was questioned by a panel of seasoned media and developmental professionals, namely Dr. Wunmi Akin-Onigbide, Mr. Owolabi Oladejo, and Ms. Shola Ogungbade. The audience was not left out. Questions were collated from selected members of each of the groups present for the candidates to respond to. Finally, after exhaustive discussions of the ambitions and intentions of the candidates, an official communique was presented and read publicly to ensure that the promises made were accurately documented for posterity. Arriving for the morning session on the 17th was Alhaji Kola Abiola, son of the late Chief MKO Abiola, the winner of the annulled June 12, 1993 election, representing the People's Redemption Party, PRP. He rejected any actions or organizations that would threaten Nigerians' unity, but explained that if elected, his administration will practice true federalism, with the local governments granted full autonomy to enhance meaningful development at the grassroots, and the Nigeria Police Force will be well-funded, equipped, and motivated. Alhaji Abiola also promised to provide allowances for teachers in training, streamlining of the indiscriminate taxes for women, and prioritizing of technical and vocational training for the unemployed.
Security in itself does not begin and end with the police. We need to go back to community-based policing. We will have an effective police in this country. We just have to pay them right, make sure their welfare is taken care of. We have to have technology to support it. And we will treat teacher training as like an NYSC copper. So while you are training, you will pay an alawi, as they call it in the NYSC. We are going to emphasize a lot of vocational schools. We have a 652. If you stop at secondary school, you go to vocational. If you go to A levels, I bring you back A levels, then you know you want to go to college.
Soon after, Mr. Omoyele Sowore, the presidential standard bearer of the African Action Congress (AAC), arrived at Jogo Center, Ibadan. Mr. Sowore lamented the decline in the quality of life and absence of unity among the Yoruba race, and the destruction of the many legacies of the sage Chief Obafemi Awolowo, particularly education. He employed Nigerians to vote in a candidate ready to reposition Nigeria. He emphasized his personal capacity to take over the arms of the nation's affairs with his continued and active participation in the struggle for the nation's liberation from mismanagement and wrong leadership. He pledged to tackle the challenges of the insecurity, lack of electricity, and hunger, and to make coming home attractive to Nigerians in diaspora.
Àti àwọn kólekóle wọléwọlé gbogbo ẹ̀ la máa dá padà. Ẹ fẹ́ ṣe campus police o, àwa wà lẹ́yìn ẹgbẹ́ ètò ààbò tó bá wù yín ẹ ṣe. Àmọ́ mo tó ṣe kókó jù ni pé a láti rí pé ètò ààbò kẹ́tọ̀ àbúdá ṣe àgbọ́dọ̀ bá létí ẹ̀tọ́ àwọn aráàlú. Kó ṣe ààbò fún Yorùbá nìkan la need. Ààbò fún gbogbo àwọn ọmọ orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà la need. Pàtàkì jùlọ mà ṣẹ́yìn wọ́n ní tí ẹ bá ṣẹ́gun ebi kò lè sábò. Tá a bá yanjú ọ̀rọ̀ ebi àti ìyà ìṣẹ́ ká dẹ̀ ríṣẹ́ fún àwọn ọ̀dọ́ à ń tan àbàjẹ́ ni lọ́rọ̀ ẹ̀wọ̀. The institution in Nigeria of today is not only deserving of free education, you deserve grants. A fẹ́ ṣe ètò tí wọ́n pè ní social security. Tẹ́ bá ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ iṣẹ́ àgbẹ̀, ẹ máa deposit owó díẹ̀díẹ̀ tó bá ti rẹ̀ yín, ìyà ò ní jẹ yín tẹ́ máa fi kú. Àmọ́ a lè restructure Nigeria pẹ̀lú 1999 constitution táwọn ológun dá sílẹ̀.
The presidential parley continued on the 19th of January 2023 when the Southwest Development Stakeholders Forum hosted the candidates of the Social Democratic Party (SDP), Prince Adewale Adebayo. He promised to address insecurity issues, develop infrastructure, and ensure equitable justice delivery. The SDP standard bearer further declared that he is ready to deploy the resources at his disposal for the creation of wealth and job opportunities for the people of the Southwest.
The porosity of the border is a homeland security challenge. There are unrecognized entry points
Over Nigeria, and from your laptop, from everywhere, anything that is the size of this microphone, you can see it from Azovilla. You can see it from government house here. So it's not difficult to do with the proper government.
Without currency stability, you cannot attract private investment. So I can guarantee you that we have a program for 30 million jobs. In our government, we are not going to do salary increase. What we are going to do is that we are going to increase the purchasing power of the money.
Honoring the Southwest Development Stakeholders Forum's invitation, the former Vice President and PDP standard bearer Alhaji Atiku Abubakar pledged that if elected into power, he will restructure the country and grant tax waivers to the private sector with the aim of boosting the economy at all levels, asserting that only the private sector can birth prosperity and create employment opportunities for youths. He further emphasized that he will ensure that every geopolitical zone is represented at all levels of political appointments during his tenure, if elected as the #1 citizen of the country. On the issue of insecurity, the Waziri Adamawa noted that growing up, he only knew about the local police within his village and never actually realized that there was a federal police before he visited the city. In his view, it might be beneficial to revert to this structure as he believed it is a more effective one. However, it is up to the National Assembly to agree to his proposal if he is elected president.
And eventually, I ended up publishing a book on restructuring. If this is your #1 priority as Southwesterners, I can tell you that if you elect me, I will implement it. My views on economy is I am a private sector believer. It is only the private sector that brings prosperity, development, wealth, jobs, and so on and so forth, not government. Insecurity is part of our restructuring issues. Women participation, we were the only government that made the Beijing conference requirement as far as participation of women in governance is concerned. In other words, should we have states and local government police or not? Again, it will depend on our legislators.
On the 31st of January 2023, the Southwest Development Stakeholders Forum hosted the two-time governor of Kano State and standard bearer of the new Nigeria's People's Party, NNPP. Dr. Kwankwaso stated that security, education, and infrastructure are top priorities of his administration if elected president of Nigeria. According to him, it's important that the number of personnel in the military, police, civil defense, and other security forces be increased as a measure of protecting the country from the menace of terrorism, banditry, kidnapping currently ravaging almost every zone, emphasizing that proactive leadership is what is required. He stated that he is quite surprised that ethnicity and religion are still topic of determinant at this level in the country. According to him, with a just and fair administration, all these divisive fears and anxieties will fizzle out, agreeing that regions should be allowed to develop at their own pace, and admitting that the Southwest is yet to achieve its full potential. Dr. Kwankwaso commended members of the SWSDF for their lack of bias in assessing the presidential candidates. He pointed out that his personal consultation had revealed that the forum is not partisan or partial to any particular candidate, signifying a breath of fresh air and enforcing his confidence in the forum's activities. In short,
on the issue of security, we have decided to very much increase the number of the Nigerian military, so also the police, so also the civil defense and other security agents that we have in this country. In education, we noted that today we have over 20 million out-of-school children. And that's why we decided to build at least 500,000 classrooms in 4 years. We have even also noted the issue of duration of jump. Now is 1 year. We decided in our blueprint to make it 4 years.
On the 3rd and 4th of February 2023, there were pockets of protest in Ibadan against the unavailability of fuel in petrol stations and cash in the banks. Nonetheless, on the 4th of February, the standard bearer of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, arrived in Ibadan for his parley with the Southwest Development Stakeholders Forum. However, shortly after disembarking from the helicopter that brought him, he held discussions with his campaign officials and left thereafter. Sources close to Mr. Obi said there were concerns about security. What is certain is that the Southwest Development Stakeholders Forum put in place layers of security in and around the venue of the parley and provided vehicles to convey the candidate from the venue with securities. However, in an interview with Arise TV, Mr. Obi explained what happened.
When I arrived in Ibadan, where I arrived and everything, I couldn't see the necessary security to escort me to where I was going. So it was difficult. So I decided to go back, and I apologize most sincerely for those who were waiting for me there.
The Southwest Development Stakeholders Forum made many efforts, formal and informal, at various levels, but up to the time of producing this documentary, we did not get a response from the standard bearer of the All Progressive candidate, APC, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. With the presidential parleys concluded, the forum is now set to mobilize the people of Southwest to participate effectively in the elections, with their eyes firmly fixed on whichever candidate they believe will best remove constitutional impediments to Southwest integrated security, railways and waterways, power, infrastructure, and environmentally sustainable exploitation of our mineral resources. Most importantly, the Southwest Development Stakeholders Forum urges the good people of the Southwest to please resist all provocations to engage in violence, as well as shun vote buying and selling. Such practices are against our values as Omoluabi.
Yorùbá bàbá ni bàbá ń ṣe. Yorùbá ronú o.
Yorùbá sọra wọn di bọ́ọ̀lù fáráyé gbá.
Wọ́n bá gbá wọn sókè, wọ́n tún gbá wọn sísàlẹ̀. Ẹ̀yà tí ó ti kéré tẹ́lẹ̀ ni wọ́n gbé kúrú. Àwọn tí a lè fẹjọ́ tún ti dẹni àtijọ́ Yorùbá jókòó sílẹ̀ rẹ̀.